My family wrecked my wedding day. I got married to my partner, DH, in a small ceremony and reception in our backyard. We are middle-aged, second marriage for both. A simple affair, but almost every guest was traveling from the Midwest, where I'm from, or from within our state, but traveling hours to join us. We live in a fairly remote part of a geographically diverse state, so a 120-mile journey takes upwards of 5 hours. Obviously, we were very excited that my parents and one of my 6 siblings came out for the wedding. My parents already had a visit planned, so we scheduled the wedding for when they were going to be here. My sister decided to come as well a couple weeks before. I made hair and makeup appointments with my regular stylist for myself, mom, and sister. First appointment was at 10. I'd be going last, so I was home getting our house ready until noon. When I got to the salon, my stylist said my mom and sister had already left. Okay, kind of weird, I was hoping we'd spend the time together. We live almost 2,000 miles apart, and I guess I hadn't thought that they would ditch me for the day. I get back to my house around 3, where there's still a lot to be done. Photographer coming at 4:30. At around 3:30, I'm freaking out trying to get everything ready. So I text my family, ask where they are, I need help. This was all outlined long before the day, that my mom, sister, and I would get our hair and makeup done, and then they and my dad would help doing final party preparations. The wedding was maybe 20 guests, and very low-key, so I hadn't considering getting a wedding planner to help with things like getting ice in coolers, setting up the bar, etc. But it turned out that my mom, dad, and sister went to a fancy lunch an hour away, and had just gotten back to their rental at 3:30 where they were getting ready. So I run around doing all the last-minute party things. People start showing up. I am sweating off my makeup and wondering WTF I did to make them ditch me all day. Parents and sister finally show up to help at 4:15. At first, I'm relieved BC now I have 10 minutes to write my vows and get dressed before the photographer arrives. Then I look at my mom. She's wearing a knee-length cream lace dress with brown tall boots. I am also intending to wear a knee-length cream lace dress with my cowboy boots. She knew this. I'd sent pictures of my entire look, on me. My sister had gotten the same pictures. She knew what I was wearing for my wedding, and what my mom intended to wear. In fact, I sent them photos of a few dresses I was deciding between. All but one of the 8 I considered were knee-length cream lace. When I said, "Why are you wearing a white dress?" she replied, "It's cream, not white." So I said, "Yeah, mine too." By then I was full on crying, said I was just going to wear a different dress I had BC I did not want to be twinning with my mother at my wedding. My dad eventually took her back to their rental to change. They returned about an hour later, the rental was 5 minutes away. I probably just should have shut my mouth and worn a different dress. Neither one of my parents spoke to me that night, except to say goodbye. My sister stepped up and at least helped throw trash away, clear the food table, pass out cake. But I cannot get past the fact that she, a 35-year-old, did not tell my mother that she could not wear a dress nearly indistinguishable from mine. The following day, my parents hosted brunch for my friends who came from the Midwest and my new mother-in-law and sisters-in-law. It was nice, but my mom would not speak to me. And my dad just seemed annoyed and pissed. Classic Irish Catholic passive aggression. We, DH and I, came back to my family's rental that evening to watch a football game. The entire evening was awkward AF. We left shortly after the game ended. My mother hugged me and started hitting me hard on my upper back and neck, right where I have chronic pain from multiple brain surgeries. It was so clear what she was doing that I said, "Why are you hitting me?" She didn't respond and went to her bedroom, and we sprinted out of there. I'm still so upset. It's been over a month, and I'm having anxiety dreams about my family messing with whatever event I'm trying to pull off in my dreams. And dreams with flashbacks to my childhood, where I was never good enough BC I wasn't a jock. My life is finally wonderful, after a decade-long abusive marriage, a rare brain disease, 5 brain surgeries, and developing a chronic illness as a result. My now husband and I stumbled into each other, and we built a glorious life together. But all I can remember from our tiny wedding is how hurt I am by my biological family. The thought of even a holiday gift exchange makes me sick. I am just so mad at them. I can't find any reason for their behavior other than, best case, not considering me at all on my wedding day, and worst case, they really wanted to hurt me. They've succeeded. I was really genuinely happy for the first time in my 42 years. They destroyed my wedding day/weekend with their behaviors. And a few weeks later, I'm thinking they've destroyed their relationship with me. Comment. You feel better now with your health. You met a good man and married him. You live 5 hours away. So, just don't invite them again. Maybe send them a Christmas card once in a while if you feel like it. But you really don't need stuff like this. They are inconsiderate people with very negative vibes. Just free yourself of this negativity. Your feelings are completely valid. Where on earth were your mom and sister on your wedding day? They should have been there helping you get ready, doing anything you needed them to do and helping get everything set up. Instead they were off being selfish, deliberately trying to make things stressful for you. They could have had lunch together on any other day of the year, to go off and do it on your wedding day? That is an act of war. And to wear the same thing as the bride? That is full-on nuclear. You are not being silly. It's not you, it's them. This is horrible toxic behavior and I encourage you to stay far away from it. I wish you every happiness in your marriage with DH and for a love that lasts a lifetime. May it be the beginning of forever. Karma doesn't mean a cinder block will fall on your mom, sending big chips into the eyes of your father and sister. Karma means that you will have a richer life, more deeply guided by love because you can see what's going on here, because you chose to move away from cruelty and toward a man who loves you and whom you can truly love. They who cannot rise above their petty envies and resentments will live a tiny life like a mirror wrapped around their heads like 80s sunglasses. This is our life, it's not a dress rehearsal. Go where it's warm, where you are seen and appreciated. Forgive the people whose minds and hearts are so tiny, so that their memory does not interfere with your life, but, for God's sake, don't have them for dinner. Or lunch. Don't torture yourself or your husband with these folks. You completely won. She tried to humiliate and upstage you and she failed. She tried to fuck with your wedding but it came together anyway. She tried to physically hurt you and you stopped her. You married the man you love and she behaved so badly that you have legitimate reason to never speak or spend time with her again. If she pulls any more crap, like bad-mouthing you to other people, you can report her assault to the police. That should shut her up. Things will be good from now on. I'm so happy for you and your new husband. I have a friend who has had multiple surgeries due to Chiari malformation. If anybody hit him on his head/neck/upper back, at all really, they would catch my hands back x10. And I would catch a sentence. I know it's hard to cut off family, but I really think that's what they deserve. Wishing you endless strength and healing. What your family did is beyond gross. Many people will tell you to just move on. But I would advise you to write it all out multiple times. This will give you a chance to express your feelings, acknowledge them, and your family's behavior caused. Consider condensing it down to a one-page letter and eventually emailing or mailing it to your family. Then go and see if they do not take ownership of their shitty behavior and the hurt they caused. If they didn't want to help out, they should have spoken up beforehand so you could have asked others or hired help. As for your mom's attire, that was a deliberate attempt for attention. Has your mom always been an attention seeker? I'm assuming your sister is the favorite. Remember, this comes with a heavy burden too. Often the favorite is a vacuum for the manipulator. They create a projected version of themselves onto the favorite and mold them to the person they desire instead of want them to be who they truly are. I think it's absolutely okay not to forgive your sister for not standing up for you. I just think it might be worth considering why she feels she can't. Maybe you're both trapped in a cycle of horrible, narc abuse by your parents in different ways. Story 2. My best friend's family's treatment of her older brother makes me sick. My best friend's family adopted her brother from a severely abusive situation in foster care where the primary abuser is now in prison for life and the other for over 15 years. He was 14 when he was adopted through their church. He's now 19 and clearly a normal person, but because of what happened he has always been antisocial and very traumatized, needing special help with most areas of his life. My friend says his main problems are PTSD and dissociation, like at the first sign of stress he just shuts down completely and isn't able to function. Despite everything he is very obviously a good person. He has always been nice to me and cooked for my friend and me a lot and I always felt perfectly safe around him. Well, I slept over my friend's house last weekend. We woke up early to drive to the beach and I saw he was asleep on their deck. I asked her about it and she said he has been doing drugs and if he comes home high or drunk his parents lock the doors and refuse to let him in. It gets cold overnight here, like in the 40s, and he had nothing to keep him warm. I asked if they've considered sending him to rehab, and she said that they sent him to a church program, but he checked himself out the first day. I know he's making bad decisions. But they chose to adopt someone who dealt with unimaginable trauma, and they're dumb if they didn't expect and prepare for the stage in his life. My friend's casual attitude about it is making me feel hate and disgust for her too. He clearly needs a lot more than what he's getting, and he feels like a brother to me too, and I hate to see them just letting him go. I keep having nightmares of him dying and don't feel okay at all. Comment. If he's 19, no one will do anything about it because he's of major age. I would look up resources to help him with rehab, counseling, and housing. That's his only option at this point. It's sad, and he probably doesn't feel as if he has any options. That's the only way I can see him being helped. He has to hit a point where he won't continue to put up with it and is willing to walk out. Maybe just talk to him more without seeming like you're making a thing of it. Like, hey, how's it going? What ya been up to? You ever seen whatever movie? Probably don't ask all those questions in one sitting, lol, just be a good friend to him as well. I feel your pain, I do. Maybe don't be so hard on your friend, though. I had an older sister who was an addict. My parents definitely made not the best decisions about how to take care of her, but at a certain point it was out of everyone's hands. Having an addict in the family is hard. Eventually it becomes the normal, because if you melt down every time they're high, you're essentially always operating in crisis mode. Your friend can't do anything, she's just a kid herself. All she can do is observe and also try to be mentally well. Maybe, but addicts' behavior can be very erratic and unpredictable. You, and possibly your friend, might not be aware of something he did or tried to do while under the influence. Or while he was trying to get back under the influence. Considering you, a non-family member, were sleeping over, your friend's parents might have been extra cautious of letting an intoxicated person inside their home while there were vulnerable, sleeping persons there. You're absolutely correct that it seems your friend's brother needs rehab, but unfortunately, you, and his parents, cannot force someone to do something they don't want to, which includes rehab. You mentioned that he feels like a brother to you and you're having nightmares about him dying. I highly recommend finding yourself a therapist to process this with. You cannot control his parents' actions, nor his, but you can control your own. I wish the both of you peace and safety. I just can't understand this mentality that just because someone is in addiction that they don't deserve to sleep inside in a warm bed. SMH. Has he ever exhibited violent behavior? What the hell is making him sleep outside supposed to accomplish? He needs meaningful addiction treatment, mental health support, and to feel safe. Sorry you're witnessing this, maybe Adult Protective Services can help. EDA, you're a good person for seeing him and caring. The world needs more people like you. They probably didn't realize all the hard work that goes into a child with trauma. He needs therapy if he's open to it. You also don't know how long he has been drinking and abusing drugs. The family might have tried different strategies and they haven't worked, so at this point this is what they are doing. My background is similar to the brothers. Heavily religious home, severe trauma. Depending on their religious beliefs, it's possible that his trauma was never addressed. For e.g., I was told my flashbacks were just Satan giving me bad dreams. Whenever I tried to address my early trauma, it didn't matter anymore because I'm now covered in the blood of Jesus and the past is the past. It wasn't until I moved out of home, and was unceremoniously handed paperwork from my adoption that detailed my trauma, that I realized just how bad things were and found ways to get myself into therapy. If their solution for addiction was church camp, they might have just tried to cast his demons out rather than actual therapy, which is its own kind of trauma. I know you didn't ask for advice, but if there are other resources available for mental health support, somewhere else to live, etc., perhaps you could get those to the brother subtly. Thank you for looking out for the brother.